Welcome to richplanet.net, the programme which aims to uncover the truth behind the alien and UFO mystery. I'm Richard D. Hall, and in this week's programme we revisit the story of the Gateshead Grey in search for answers to this bizarre alien encounter. For those who have not seen the original Gateshead Grey, here's a quick recap. One evening, about a week before the presentation, I received a call from a Geordie gentleman. He asked me if I was the one giving the talk. He then said, "Well, I've seen them," and over the next half hour proceeded to tell me the most fascinating story about a UFO and alien visitation. Robert Hall was just 5 years old when the events took place, and he described how a UFO appeared behind an invisible barrier in his street. He and another boy were abducted, taken on board the craft and examined by horrible creatures. His uncle Ernie, a coal merchant, lived in the next street and also witnessed one of the creatures.
Well, I would put it this way, I was pushed out into their street when I was about 4. Right, but I was brilliant. You know what I mean? We're watching a whole lot of soldiers marching along Southwell Road. After about 3 hours, we got sick of it. There was too many, it kept going on, we're getting colder, wanted something to eat. So we lived in Headley Street, you see, so we both run down to go around the back lane to our houses. You know when you look through a fire and it's wobbly? Well, that seemed to be the barrier. All you could see is the railway because we didn't see it till we got through this like a barrier. And we're under these horrible creatures, and they got a hold of it. And when they were,
Hold of this other lad as well, then?
yeah, and they took us both along, and the horrible looking things. There was about 18 and 19 creatures, the horrible looking things.
Can you describe what they looked like?
Well, there was one. I know you're gonna take the mick. One was like Bigfoot. He was very tall, and the others were small, about 4 foot. And they were horrible ones. One had like a diver's mask on him, and one of the creatures, he was very good looking bloke, one of the aliens, and he had a kind of like a robe on.
Did he have, what colour hair did he have?
He was blonde.
And what colour eyes?
Didn't notice.
Was he?
But he had long hair, like ye. Well, a bit longer than yours. And I says, well, you can examine me. And I went in the capsule. No, that pulled the wall.
Was that a UFO?
Yeah, but it moved all of a sudden. It was at the bottom of the street. And they took it from there and they put it into the back yard. We walked through, he took me through into there, examined this, took some blood out of the back of my neck. He said, if you lift your head up, you'll be killed instantly. And I was petrified, or need pain myself. And I stood beside these other creatures. They were like men, but the tallest one was about 4 foot. And they went down to about 2 foot. There was 3 of them. And these other ones were all horrible looking creatures. No,
And this was on board the craft?
you know, outside the craft.
Outside the craft?
Yeah, and this was in the back lane.
Right.
But you see, with them, about 18 of them they were right along the lane, right around we. We couldn't run that way, couldn't run any way.
And apart from the boy that you mentioned, was there any other children or any?
Yeah, they were trying to. The girls went into hysteric. They were what do you call hysteria? They were trying to get over the fences, to get over the railway to get away. The big tall one was like I know you're gonna say it daft, but it was like Bigfoot. He got ahead of the other lad. He says, run, and I run up the back lane, straight up the street to Mona Holland's paper shop, and I says, the soldiers, there's some horrible creatures doing the lane. Oh, he says, it's children having a game, man. I says, look at the marks on my face, man. I says, it isn't. Of course, the soldier officer says, come on, there's a pistol. Go around the corner. Make me still look big. He come around the corner. When he seen what went on, he fired a pistol. All hell broke loose on Southwell Road. The men were running all over the place, you know.
So the actual craft itself that you saw?
It went up a height after that.
Went up a height.
But what I couldn't figure out for years where all them creatures went. They couldn't get in the small craft.
After Robert Hall's UFO sighting and abduction, he told his parents about the creatures, but they did not believe him. And he was told to keep quiet about it. This is by no means the end of this incredible story. About 3 days later, things took an even more bizarre twist. In the morning, Robert was going to the local shop for his father's newspaper.
Then I went to this shop, Mona Hollands, to get me father's paper. A grey come after us up the back lane. I run like out. Grey was on us like a shot. And I was a hell of a good runner. And now, as I screamed, my uncle Ernie smashed its head in with a shovel. And he says, come on, I've never seen out like it. And he says, get Sergeant Brooks on Southwell Road. He'd be just coming off duty now. So I run to Southwell Road and Sergeant Brooks come along. I says, he's killed it. He says, kill what? And he went for his truncheon and had the old-fashioned police mark on, and he come around the corner. He said, by God, and he was crossing his cell praying. He says, I've never seen out like it. They put it on a coal sack and pulled it into the backyard, into the coal place is still there to this day. They pulled it into there. You see, you get yourself away home. I says, no, I've been telling you the damn truth. There is your proof. Get yourself away home, Robert. I says, no, I'm standing here.
Absolutely incredible. Robert's uncle Ernie Wren had killed the creature with a coal shovel. This is the precise spot where the alien was hit over the head with the shovel. About 20 minutes later, according to Robert, a vehicle took the dead creature's body to a place where it could be hidden until authorities were informed. According to him, the hiding place was underneath St. Cuthbert's Church on Bensham Road, about half a mile from the incident. He said there were some steps at the back of the church which led underneath, down which the alien was taken and then stored for 3 months. I'm just standing now at the top of the steps by the side of the church where the alien was taken. I'm just going to go down the steps. You see, it's not very pleasant down here. The steps are very narrow. Okay. And there is a chamber. Smells not too good either. There's a chamber underneath here somewhere. Hello. It's a little chamber which is about, I'd say about 12 feet by 8 feet. And we're underneath the floor of the church here. If you can see this. An ideal place to store a dead alien.
And how they're doing it at the back of the church.
That's where the very narrow steps are.
Yeah.
So can you describe that entrance to the...
I wouldn't go and do it.
Robert also remembered a woman holding a baby coming out of the craft shortly after he had been let out. Robert was ill for a few days following the abduction. For 2 days his eyes watered and he suffered headaches. A small triangular-shaped mark appeared on his left cheek, which remained until he was about 13. After the events, Robert was intimidated and threatened by officials who he presumed were from the army or the government, who said that he would be killed if he said anything. A high-ranking man from the Air Force interviewed him and asked him to provide an account of what he saw. He remembers the Air Force official was called Marshall. He handed Robert a child's spinning top and asked him if this is what the craft looked like.